Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you. How are you? Are you all right? My mother criticised my comedy recently. She said, Nish, there's a problem with your comedy. I said, what is the problem? She said, well, you're a left-wing comedian. I said, why is that a problem? She said, well, all comedians are left-wing. It's boring. Now, here's the thing, guys. I have no idea if all comedians are left-wing or not. I've not done the research. But I have a theory. I think it is hard to write right-wing comedy. And I know because I've been trying, okay? This is the best I could come up with for right-wing comedy. Hey, don't you hate it when you start earning over $100,000 a year and you move up an income tax bracket? It doesn't work, except for the people in the better seats who are just looking at me like, yeah, Nish, that is hard. Thank you for acknowledging our struggle. But I don't think there's a problem. I think all that's going on is stand-up comedy is an art form wherein it's easier to express left-wing political beliefs. But if you look over the entire cultural spectrum, it balances itself out. There's as much stuff that's inherently left-wing as there is inherently right-wing. Because I would argue, as much as no one wants to see a right-wing comedian, even fewer people wants to see a left-wing action film. Like, I am left-wing and I love action films, but I have no desire to watch a left-wing action film because that would be the most boring film of all time. I got no interest in watching the Avengers apply to the UN Security Council. But I think it's great. Culture finds a way of balancing itself out. Left-wing people have some stuff, right-wing people have some stuff. Left-wing people have comedy and folk music. Right-wing people have action movies and board games. Because when I was growing up, the board game I played most often, I can't believe we allow children to play this game. I'm talking, of course, about Monopoly. I cannot believe Monopoly is a game. First of all, it's called Monopoly. Now, that is a financial crime. We have governmental bodies designed to prevent. There's no games named after other financial crimes. There's no embezzlement ball or, hey, kids, build your own Lego Ponzi scheme. People are worried about Grand Theft Auto. Monopoly reinforces the idea that a right-wing way of running your economy is the right way to do so. Because all the public works, the electric company, the train station, you can just buy them. And then the more of them you own, the more money you make. What happens if you go to jail? Nothing, as long as you can afford to bribe your way out. And here's the thing, I know that board games give children messed up messages. I know about that, I know. Battleships is basically teaching children the best way to fight awards when you can't see where you're shooting. Snakes and Ladders encourages animal cruelty. And chess, when you think about it, is just a way of encouraging slow, tactical racism. But so lovely to be here. Like, I love traveling around. It's really fun. Like, I went to do some gigs in Australia earlier this year, and the gigs were good, which is good because I didn't think they were going to be. Because before I went to Australia, there was an incident. Now, when you come and do festivals like this, they don't have time to interview all the comedians because there's too many of us, so they'll just send out Q&As, and these are all boring questions like, where are you from, who are your favourite comedians, blah, blah, blah. And they'll personalise one question per Q&A for each comedian. You'll know it's for you because it'll be in a different font. It's clearly been inserted into an existing document, right? And I read the whole thing, and I get down to a question that's been personalised for me, and I'm excited to fill out the Q&A. I'm getting to go to Australia. And I get to a question that they've personalised for me. And the question that these people had personalised for me was, how come Christians are allowed to draw pictures of their prophets and Muslims aren't? To which the obvious answer is, I don't know. My parents are Hindus. I've got no idea why they would think I would know. Now, one of two things has happened here. Either these people have just seen that I've got a foreign name and just thought, must be a Muzza, definite Muzza, Nish Kumar is a classic Muzza name, or they think we have non-white people meetings where we assemble, set the non-white agenda for the year, and then retire to a screening room where we watch a DVD of Boys in the Hood. And so, I didn't know what to put, because I didn't want to, it was a controversial subject, I didn't want to upset anybody, so I just put, I don't know, but it wasn't enough. I wanted them to know that an infraction had taken place, but there wasn't really much scope for theological discussion until the last question, because the last question was not a question, it was a task. They had given us the first half of a joke, and we had to supply the second half. And the first half of the joke was this: a book walks into a bar and sees a bookcase. And you can finish that joke any way you want. This is how I chose to finish it. A book walks into a bar and sees a bookcase. The book says, hey, bookcase, how come Christians are allowed to draw pictures of their prophets and Muslims aren't? And the bookcase said, I don't know, because I am a bookcase. and as such have no knowledge of the intricacies of Islamic theology. I assume you're asking me because I'm a brown bookcase? In which case, get lost. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having me. It is a privilege to be here. Goodbye.